It's Friday night in the A, and you know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
Man, what a holiday week from some relaxing time off during the bye, not even thinking about the Falcons to yesterday. Thanksgiving, we had to start with some Thanksgiving/rivalry week greetings from none other than the Mud Duck, who nicely hopes that Saints fans had a terrible Thanksgiving. He hopes that they had a hair in their cornbread dressing and that their turkey was undercooked, y'all.
Here's the thing, I like the hashtag, yeah, I said it. That's personally my favorite. But okay, quick poll, because is it bad that I sort of kind of miss like this type of energy in the rivalry, like that angry energy? I honestly think that guys are a little bit too nice these days.
I agree 100%. There's nothing wrong with a little edge. Well, what none of us are thankful for were those 3 L's that sent the Dirty Birds into their bye week. But the Falcons hope to emerge from that break with some answers going into the backstretch of the season. Let's huddle up about it.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
I don't have to remind any of y'all that the Saints will be marching into town on Sunday. One game separates first and third place in the NFC South with 7 weeks to go. The Saints are 5-5, the Falcons are 4-6, and whoever wins at the Benz on Sunday could be in the driver's seat. If the Falcons win, they'll have a share of the division lead and be 3-0 in division with wins against Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Meanwhile, the Saints dealing with a number of injuries, so this is a must-win for a couple of reasons for the Falcons. This is a matchup they could take advantage of rather than being the get-right opponent for the Saints.
Yeah, so the only thing that kept me going through the losses of the last month was knowing that the Falcons still have a wide-open division ahead of them. This isn't surprising considering how this division has played out in recent years, but the Falcons do themselves no favors if they don't win in the division, and that starts on Sunday. And the Falcons may be catching the Saints at the right time too, because they're really dealing with some stuff this week. Michael Thomas was placed on IR this week. Derek Carr working through concussion protocol, Marshawn Lattimore, ankle injury. I mean, they have some things going on that you have to worry about going into Sunday.
Right, and the Falcons might be getting a couple guys back that you want to see. Well, this Dirty Bird defense needs a bounce back in a big way as well. This unit didn't give up more than 24 points until week 6, but in weeks 8 through 10, averaging 28 points per game, which doesn't sound bad until you think about the fact that those games were against Will Levis in his first ever game,
right.
Josh Dobbs, who didn't even know his teammates' names yet, and Kyler Murray in his first game back in a year. It's not great, but could this defense kind of deploy a secret weapon this week? I'm talking about 3 former Saints who are now a big part of this unit. Defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, David Onyemata, Caden Ellis. Can they help the Falcons kind of prepare for what they might see from the Saints?
You have to think that that's a possibility, right? I mean, these are 3 people who have quite a bit of institutional knowledge about this team and what makes it tick. Also, don't you think that there's added incentive too? I mean, these guys want to beat their old team? But the other side of the coin is that this could be a real they don't know, we know they know situation. Get that reference? The Saints could switch things up a little bit, anticipating Nielsen, Onyemata, and Ellis holding court in Flowery Branch with the Falcons this week about what they're going to try and do.
And about as stale as leftover Thanksgiving rolls news, Desmond Ridder, QB1 once again. I say that because it's been talked about a lot by Tori, by me, by just about everybody. Ridder is 4-4 as a starter this season. He's shown upside at times, but his penchant for turnovers sent him to the bench. So having 2 games to think about it and even a bye week to reflect on everything, do you think that's actually going to translate into better play on Sunday?
You know, that's the hope, right? I think Desmond Ridder hopes so. Arthur Smith hopes so. Heck, the entire Falcons team and probably the fan base too hope so in order to see more consistent play from this team as a whole. Arthur Smith was asked quite a bit about the decision earlier this week, and he reiterated that he liked what he saw from Desmond Ridder when he came in for Taylor Heineke against Arizona before the bye week. He also said he thinks that putting Ridder back in the QB1 spot, quote, gives us the best chance.
That's all you want is a chance. We've had a week to reflect on some great pregame fashion moments in Arizona, and we're walking in now, presented by Wells Fargo. I did not have Tyler Algier on my bingo card for most walk-in appearances in 2023. I am not going to lie, but here we are. Our favorite little bowling ball just keeps bringing fun vibes with the fits. Of course, the panic peace sign as well. We love to see it. He's kind of always giving reluctant kid getting his school picture taken, but I'm here for it.
While simultaneously giving dad on vacation vibes too. I mean, with the button-up short sleeve collared shirt, no less.
That is on point. Vacation mode activated. All right, we're going from 0 to 100 real quick with Keith Smith, kind of literally. He's serving some auto racing realness here.
So good.
With Formula One's inaugural Vegas race last week. I'm here for it. As Lightning McQueen also once said, float like a Cadillac, sting like a Beamer. This fit does just that.
I kid you not. I watched Talladega Nights and Days of Thunder over the weekend. So I don't really know why this racing look is following me, but I really don't hate it.
It's a look. It's a vibe. Next up, CP pulling up with another summery, cheerful moment. I am digging the tie-dye-ish pattern he's got going on here. Honestly, looks really comfortable too, and I'm warming up to this cargo pants trend, Tori.
Kelly, I'm so glad to hear that because I've been here and we welcome you. Also, I am with you about this shirt as well. You would never know that it's November with this fit, but it does kind of work for Phoenix,
Right.
which is where we were when he wore this.
Right. The only guy to break up the backfield dominance in this segment, Frank Darby. Oh, how we have missed your smile, sweet king. This one really isn't so much the outfit as much as it is just kind of the whole vibe, which, as we know, is always immaculate with Frank. But we do love a starter jacket moment.
Also, I didn't realize that those were shorts. So the pulled back was, I didn't realize that there were shorts. Honestly, I'm quite surprised that Frank Darby wasn't decked out in all ASU garb because that's where he went, and
Right.
we were there. We were in Arizona, but I guess the splash of yellow kind of works for it too.
All right, one of my favorite Thanksgiving traditions nowadays, hearing which turkey foods are the Falcons' faves in our Thanksgiving edition of Question of the Week.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I'd say either like pecan pie or like cranberries.
Mac and cheese.
Any special like requirements, types of cheese, anything like that?
No cottage cheese.
Okay.
Cottage cheese is a no-go for me.
Candy yams, collard green, cornbread.
I'm a sweets guy, so sweet potato pie.
Turkey and dressing with cranberry sauce.
Mac and cheese with baked beans.
Do you get marshmallows on top of sweet potato pie or no?
Yes, definitely.
Really, it's cranberry sauce. I can eat a whole can by myself.
A lot of people think it's weird. I mix my mac and cheese and baked beans, but I do it, and it's busting.
There's some people that don't like it, which
Isn't that weird?
Jelly, no real cranberries in there. Straight jelly.
Straight jelly.
Straight jelly.
That's kind of a hot take.
I wasn't expecting that.
Speaking of hot takes, I got to disagree with Calais on the marshmallows. I put nuts on mine. Hate me if you want, but that is how I make them. But sweet potatoes are my favorite as well.
Stand strong on your
Yes.
opinions.
I'm not saying it's the wrong way, but mine is the right way. All right, coming up later in the show, we catch up with Falcons legend Ray Buchanan about the current Falcons and, of course, discuss some of his favorite Dirty Bird memories. Don't miss that just ahead.
Plus, the Falcons up front gave back this Turkey Day. That story is coming up next on Rise Up Tonight.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And Truist, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. It's time to Rise Up Atlanta. Kelly and Tori are back on your home for Falcons football. Fox 5 Atlanta.
Well, rain or shine, earlier this week, the Falcons' offensive and defensive linemen were going to give out these turkeys. Time now to Rise Up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist.
Happy Thanksgiving.
As they do every year, Falcons from both lines of scrimmage hosted the drive-through Falcons Feast event, giving out 1,000 turkeys and fixins for Thanksgiving to families on Atlanta's west side through the nonprofit group Chris 180. David Onyemata, who's in his first year here in Atlanta, is from Nigeria originally, and he said he's learned how special Thanksgiving is, and it's really cool to give back during this time.
The initial idea of what Thanksgiving is about, giving thanks and being there with your family and friends and, just being able to put a smile on people's faces, especially on a day like today and leading up to Thanksgiving. I feel it's a great feeling. It's something you kind of take pride in.
Look at those fresh faces and well-rested smiles.
Even in the rain.
Well, we all earned a break this bye week, all y'all fans included. But the Falcons wanted to use the time productively, of course, to, as you put it, Tori, reassess, reevaluate, and regroup in your notebook on AtlantaFalcons.com. After the Cardinals loss, you kind of discussed how the Falcons need more answers coming out of this bye. And do you think they've arrived at any?
So I'm going to go back to a saying that I had early in the show. You hope so, right? I mean, to be honest, I don't have the answers. years. And if I'm being even more honest, I need the Falcons to find an identity over the next few games, because I don't think I've seen one yet. The defense had one at the beginning of the year, but that attack and aggressive nature has been missing in recent games. Meanwhile, the offense's inconsistencies has made it really difficult to pinpoint what their true strengths are. Even though we're in week 12 now, we're still missing that identity piece.
That's a great point. And you know what? Tori and I had to take a look in the mirror as well after a few questionable predictions through the first couple weeks of the season. But we also emerged from the bye week with fresh takes, but they're still spicy. Stay tuned for our hot takes at the end of the show.
And coming up next, don't miss Big Play Ray joining Kelly and I in the nest.
It's almost game time, Falcons fans. When the Falcons sack the opposing QB at home, you'll score a BOGO free Big Zack snack meal the day after the game. Valid online only at Atlanta area stores. Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
So excited to have in the nest a Big Play Ray with us. Ray Buchanan, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, defensive back between 1997-2003 for the Falcons. Let's go back to your playing days. I want to talk about your favorite Falcons memory. Share with us what that is.
For an individual like myself playing a team sport, I think knowing that you're going to the Super Bowl rather than playing in the Super Bowl probably was my favorite moment, of my career. Because of course the Falcons never did it before. We was big time underdogs playing against Minnesota. But more importantly, it was a game to remember because I played against a GOAT. And Randy Moss was that dude. I ain't gonna lie. He ain't wearing a gold jacket for nothing. But they gave me a green jacket. I don't know why, but that may be because I haven't made it to the Hall of Fame yet. But that dude was a GOAT. He was a good player. So that was probably my best memory.
98 team was something special, and there's a lot of celebrations happening within the organization, kind of looking back on 25 years since playing the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. For you, what was so special about that team particularly?
Dan Reeves brought in so many different guys. I mean, married guys, single guys, people that just got along. I never really knew what we really had. We had so many different characters. I mean, so many different personalities. And it's hard. Literally, you have a lot of strong personalities, can be disruptive. We all got along, and we all held each other accountable. And then what made it even more special, it's hard to do in the NFL to get, 53-man roster and everybody buy in to what the coaches was, dreaming of. And that was probably what the biggest characteristic I think about that 98 team.
Can't think about that era and not think about the Dirty Bird. We've seen some players kind of recently hit it. Calais Campbell, yeah. Kyle Pitts did it last year. How cool is it for you to see the current players kind of looking back at that history and giving a nod to it, but B, I want to kind of talk about the oral history behind how that whole thing even happened.
We all didn't have an idea that it was going to actually blow up like it did, but it was something that we did as a team, and everybody wanted to make a play. It gave everybody an incentive to make a play because I wanted my turn to do the Dirty Bird. Or as we went on that run, especially the second half of the season, we look up in the stands, and as we got the Dirty Bird, you got fans, you got people on the Jumbotron. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen Jamal Mama doing a Dirty Bird on TV. It was hilarious, but she had it down. I thought she made it up the way how well she did it. Yeah. But it was something collectively that happened between everybody that, with the fans and us getting it. We just had to live up to it, and I think that's what we did.
For you, how does the way that you view the game change from when you were playing to how you watch it now, kind of even being a part of the media?
Sometimes I think I take it a little bit too personal, almost like a coach watching the game.
Right.
I bought maybe I think about 6 new TVs from throwing a shoe at it because I'm so mad at what actually happened.
You and a lot of Falcons fans.
But also the good memories, like, pointing at the TV saying, okay, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what it actually takes, because there's so much parity within the game. It's hard to win. People don't realize what it takes to get to a Super Bowl. It's hard. Teams nowadays, I mean, the way the money's being distributed, having, manage the right teams together, putting the right personalities together to make things match, it's hard to win games. You never know if you're going to win one or lose one. And what the Falcons actually did and what they continue to do, like this team that we got now, I think it's more or less, you can see that they have the right pieces. It's just gelling at the right time. And it takes accountability. Once I think that they start to get it, I think Arthur Smith will be a happy man.
We'll have to shave him with mustaches. Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
So what does it take in a league where it is every week you're going up against really good opponents? What's kind of the one thing that separates you in those moments?
I think you got to know who you are. I think, given the fact that what the talent that the offense has, we got deep threats, but we're not using it. So what's going to happen is the defense is going to crowd the line of scrimmage. We're going to stop the run and make you throw short balls. And it's just going to be for the opposing team, they're like, all right, we can deal with this. Defensively, it actually helps if we're moving the ball a lot more. The defense sitting on the sideline stretching. Hey, when we going to get out there instead of being, so if you're going 3 and out as an offense, defense on the field, you're getting more exposed, instead of 60-something plays a game, you got 83, 82, it's not good for the defense. So it works sort of like hand in hand.
I gotta ask, where are you at on the quarterback situation with the Falcons right now?
I like Ritter. I like what he did in college. I just, and this is my personal opinion, I think, some guys are systematic. You got to be in the right system. I'm not so sure or sold out that he's right for the system now. But as a player, if I was Ritter and I had heard that, I feel like I could play in any system. That's the attitude that, I say the egos that the ball players have. But, I like Heineke. I'll be honest. If he had the opportunity to start and make the mistakes, have the success, but he's a firecracker. I've seen this dude grind, from the bottom, where people told him that he couldn't do it. We saw what he did up in Washington, and that was just within a short amount of time. So the quarterback situation, Red, I love you, bro, but I still think, some guys still got a little ways to grow.
The beginning part of the season was really, really high for this defense. They've been really balling out. They were a top 5 unit at one point. For you, when you watch this secondary, who stands out and what about it stands out?
I ain't gonna lie, Bates right now standing out.
Right.
This dude playing, it's hard. When you make plays, it's the things that I'm seeing him do. He's making Ed Reed type of plays. He's literally sitting back, baiting quarterbacks into throws, like literally knowing that he's supposed to be over here, showing one thing and like, I'm sorry, dog, I got you, slip, interception or big hit. He's making those type of plays. Those are game-changing plays. I think Bates is right now on his way to having not just a Pro Bowl year. If he can continue this next half of the season, I think he has an opportunity to, to make an All-Pro.
All right, well, thanks so much for your insight. Really appreciate all of that. That was really fun. Anyone who wants to catch a full conversation, head to fox5atlanta.com. We'll post the whole thing on there that you can catch with Ray, and we'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
It's like I don't get caught up in whatever narrative is after 4 weeks of the daily narratives. You can almost write some of these narratives and live and die every week by the narratives. I don't use that lingo. That's the sensational line. It's like the scene with the dudes chasing the guy down from Happy Gilmore run to give away our scheme. What the hell is going on? Now you're really trying to put me on the hot seat here. Some narratives.
And the narratives just keep coming, like the Thanksgiving leftovers that we are all still eating for the next week, Tori.
Probably, yeah.
All right, y'all, we talked about the potential help a few New Orleans defectors coming to Atlanta could bring this defense. My hot take is 2 of those guys take down whoever plays quarterback on Sunday for the Saints. David Onyemata leads this team with 3.5 sacks. Caden Ellis tied for 3rd with 2 on the year. I think both those guys are going to increase those numbers against their old team this week.
That'll be fun. Okay, let's switch over to the offense really quick. Desmond Ridder said in the locker room on Monday that he understands he needs to take better care of the ball. And it goes without saying that turnovers have killed this team in 2023. So my hot take, the Falcons take this to heart and a change comes in the form of a no turnover day by this offense.
Wow.
I know. Real talk, could this be the hottest hot take on our show ever?
I think the desk might burst into flames. That take was so hot, but we would absolutely love to see it. And we'll be back here next Friday night to talk about if that maybe does happen against the Saints. Have a good night, guys.